Hello, welcome back to another Photoshop video. In this I want to look at levels adjustment, try and understand the histogram stuff. Okay, so we've got an adjustment layer and you can see what we have here is this we call the black point. It's also the shadows. This is the white point. It's also the highlight. And this is the midpoint. It's also the gamma. And what this graph shows you is from black, the lines are saying from black to white. So we have a gradient here from dark grey to kind of, light beige. So what it means is that the blacks are not black and the whites are not white. So if you want to do that, when we set the black point to here, so you'll see, you can also do it here, for instance, right? You could set the sample image to the black point. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to drag this slider over. What this is doing, it's saying basically the values from 0 to say 52 or whatever, they all get condensed. And so this is now black. And the same thing happens if we do this. So all those values that are here, they all just become white. So that's why now you can see we've got a gradient from black to white. And if we want to lighten the gamma to lighten, so even though this is black to white, the midpoint slider acts in the opposite way. So pulling it to the left will lighten the midpoint, and then pulling it to the right is going to darken the midpoint. So here's the next one. This is I've used this image a few times. All right, let's again do adjustment levels layer. Here you can see is that the shadows here are not there and the whites are not properly white. So again, what that means is that you want to make these points darker, right? So let's have a look and try. If we set the black point, let's look at this. Is really dark spot, right? So that no, I don't want to do it like that. All right, so again, what we can do is we can say, well, we want this to be the black point here. So everything is going to get condensed into that. And everything's going to get condensed into that. So now the blacks are darker than they were before. We can take a look at that. You can see a little bit darker now. It looks a little bit better. So that's how that works. And again, if we want to lighten the tone, we can lighten. In this situation, might want to darken it. So essentially, because this is midpoint, I guess you could say that all the points, you're going to want a slightly more even distribution. That's probably why this looks slightly better as darker rather than lighter. See, when we go lighter, it starts to look too washed out at this point. But it looks pretty good about that. All right, let's have a look at this one. This one is obviously a slightly more complicated picture here, but we might be able to do some different things. So let's actually use these buttons here. So the black point. Now it looks like there's something wrong with the exposure. That this area here is too dark, right? So let's make our black point a dark spot in the image. So that is really dark over here, right? So already you can see it looks better. There is this thing where you start to get banding here, and that's not a good thing. And then the white point, well, we've got like white tiles here. Probably nearer the sky will be even lighter. Maybe that is a good white point. So that actually, just by doing that, it's definitely improved the image, right? It does make it look better. And again, we can look at the midpoint. So remember, we're going to make it lighter to this side. So let's have a look. So you can actually see that this area here that was in the dark areas is actually already looking a little bit better, right? I mean, look at the detail that's coming out there when we go put it right over there. Interesting. Yeah, just to look at this detail, because it's kind of interesting over in this section here. Just trying to find the right spot. Yeah, if we put this over here, somewhere around this area. You're definitely going to get more detail in the image when we do it much lower than that. I'm curious to see, like, if let's just cut off some areas here. So you can see we cut off some areas here, and let's on this one, we probably don't want the banding so much. because this is where all the details of the image are. We can lighten it by doing that. And let's just zoom back out again. Let's do a Control 0. So yeah, I mean, that certainly makes everything much clearer. Maybe a little bit darker. So that might be the final result for that. So if we look at what it was before, okay, so the final result, I just grouped the images together. That is the original, and it goes to that. It definitely looks a lot better here. But yeah, certainly interesting anyway. So thanks for watching.